thoughts on tonight's win?
Yeah, I just said it on the radio. I felt like tonight's win was kind of an accumulation of all the lessons we've learned this year in the games that we've had. You know, the close games we've had. A lot of our games have been close. I think it was a testament to the will of our young men, the trust they have in each other, and the way they come to I was going to say work, school, whatever you want to call it, every day, with just a determination to get better. You know, they could have easily at any point in that game just said, oh, enough's enough, especially late in the fourth quarter. I'm sure most people watching the game were thinking that our defense would let us down again. And I think if we hadn't have had the failures that we'd had in the 2-minute drives earlier in the year, maybe we wouldn't have had the success that we had tonight. And I know that sounds really strange, but there was a calmness and a confidence to the defense tonight that I think was born from those experiences that they've had, and they were able to get it done at the end. I think that, you know, when you look at what Joey did, 27 to 39, 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, and just for the record, that interception does not count as an interception. Tom's shaking his head. It does not count as an interception because an interception on a 2-point attempt does not count, just like a sack does not count. So he is still, he's still at 0 there. And, you know, their quarterback, boy, that kid is special. You know, that's a $4 million quarterback right there that you saw, and he's worth every penny, I think. He's really, really special. So to be able to kind of put some pressure on him like we did at the end, to be able to get a sack, cause fumble at the end like we did, you know, when he's got the ball in his hands, he's scaring you. And then Shepard, their freshman running back, number 20, the juice and the lightning that he has. But, you know, we made the plays and we had to make the plays. Skyler had 11 catches and 2 touchdowns. Juice, I think this is his 4th game in a row with a touchdown. So, yeah, I'm just really proud of the team.
Coach,
yes.
What's the reminder when you see fans and students storming the field after a great win?
Oh, it's cool. You know, I'm hopeful that our conference doesn't fine us. So, yeah. No, I mean it's just it's really cool for our players. Yeah, it's really cool. You know, those are the moments that they'll remember really forever. You know, Jackson Mitchell, as you guys know, you know, he lives with me, and I mean he's brought it up several times how cool it was after that Liberty game. You know, and that was 3 years ago. That it was one of the highlights of his career here, and he's Mr. Connecticut. So I think it's days like that these kids won't forget.
Jim, what made that the right time for the fake punt?
We had it. We'd seen all week. I'm sorry, all game that we had it. We've worked on that, and we work on it every day for the entire season. The hash mark and the distance to go is what made it right, and the fact that we needed a play, because to continue to put the ball in that quarterback's hands was very dangerous, and we had to make a play, and we just had a high degree of confidence because we've worked it so much.
Jim, on that last offensive drive, I thought
Theirs or ours?
yours.
Yeah, okay.
You were backed up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's juice on the sideline. I thought those yards were big on that.
Big.
On that second down play, but then the 3rd down throw, or the 4th down throw, and then to Skyler in the end zone. Just what can you say about that final drive and what Joe was able to do?
Just like you're right. The 3rd down play after the penalty, which was, yeah, you know, I don't know if I agree with it, but it is what it is. Joe just having the confidence to, you know, here's what we said. We said, let's get half. We knew we were going to go for it. I mean, we had to go for it. So it wasn't an all or nothing type of play. It was a let's get half play. And Joe and Juice got us half, and then we converted on 4th down. So, oh no, you can ask me another negative question? I'm kidding you.
So, it seemed like in the first half the momentum was going your way, and in the second half it seemed like Duke came out, and whatever adjustments they made, they were marching down the field. But in the fourth, you've seen that kind of slowed you down and stopped them. What adjustments did you make in the fourth to end that game when you had it?
We really didn't make any adjustments per se. It's just a mindset that you have to develop over time, and a confidence, you know, and a trust and a belief that what you're doing is going to work, and what if you practice it the right way, and you're deliberate and intentional about the practice, that's going to develop the confidence you need in game time. And we all know, and we talked about it before the game, and we talked about it at halftime, is that, you know, the shifts in momentum, we can't ride that wave. You know, we can't ride the wave of momentum. We just have to be steady and focused, and I think our guys did that tonight.
When you
Yes.
have elite quarterback, elite receiver like you have, how much does that help you when you're making play calls that you're just going to put the ball in those two hands and go answer the game?
It's awesome. It's a pretty darn good feeling when you got Joe back there and you got Skyler and you got Cam Edwards and you got an offensive line that is playing well against a great front. You feel like you always have a chance, and the thing about Joe that's so special is his situational awareness in a football game and his decision making. It's just rare. It's so rare. And that's, basically that and a lot of other things is what helping him be successful.
Jim,
Coach, last week's press conference, to summarize, you emphasized so much on tackling. Just what are your thoughts on the tackling tonight?
I don't know. I have to look at the film. I'm sure we missed some, but you're going to miss some in a game, especially when you're playing a talented team like Duke, an ACC team that, they just pull off a huge win against Clemson on the road last week. I mean, that's a talented football team, as you guys could see, But my gut feeling is we tackled better, but I can't tell you how much better. This guy probably tackled pretty well. Brian back there, I know that last tackle was a pretty good tackle. But it's something that, it's something you just have to constantly work on, And I think I said it earlier in the week on Tuesday in the press thing is that, we are third or second, we're second in the country in sacks, and I think Brian's third in the country in tackles for loss. We're in the top 10 in tackles for loss, so we play an aggressive style of defense because we know that if we get negative plays, it increases our chances of getting off the field in that drive. The flip side is that we get ourselves in a lot of one-on-one situations, and so that means there's a chance that someone's going to be in a position that they have to make a solo tackle, which is not really ideal when you're playing a athletic football team like we played today.
Coach, Joe Zone, and then we'll take.
Hey, Joe.
Jim, that offense today was an incredible thing to watch. And I know you say you have players, but the schemes, the misdirection, the play calling, the whole thing from up in the press box was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and that's a credit to Gordy and the staff, Coach Samus and that staff. Like I've said it many times, the guy's brilliant. I mean, he's as good as they get. I mean, we're a top 15 offense in college football. I don't know. Like I said, that's pretty impressive. And, we run a pro-style attack, and yet we go fast, and we teach concepts, and we use different personnel groups and shifts and motions. And, if I'm a high school kid or I'm a portal kid and I have aspirations to go to the NFL, this is the kind of offense I want to be in. You know what I mean? I'd take less money to come here and play, okay? Because you're going to develop the skills that you need to develop to be successful here and at the next level. That's how we coach, and that's how, on both sides of the ball, but you asked about offense, so specifically on offense. Gordy the guy's unreal. I mean, and I think he had a little chip on his shoulder today. There was someone on their side that said, what, an offensive line coach calling plays? Yeah, an offensive line coach calling plays. A great offensive coordinator calling plays.
Jim, you said a few years ago, and you've said a few times since, that you're going to build a power conference team here. Whether or not you're actually in the power conference, you're going to build that level of program. Now you've won 3 of the last 4 of the loss in OT against that league. Do you feel like you've done that?
No, the journey's never over. I mean, listen, 3-1 is great. I'd love to be 4-0. Still lament that loss to Syracuse and the way that it happened because we were controlling that game, but we're closer. We're closer. And as you said, we're 3-1 against the ACC the last 4 times, and that's a good thing for this program.
Joe.
The
Oh, Joe.
largest crowd here since 2013. What was that like for you to look out and see that support and to really feel it on that last defensive drive?
That's when I felt it the most. Like I was aware of the crowd, but you become ultra focused on what's happening on the field, and you can't be distracted by that. So, I wasn't necessarily aware of how many people were in the stadium, but you could feel the energy. But I know this, on that last drive, I felt them. I heard them. I think they contributed a ton to us, getting that stop at the end. I think that they put pressure on Duke, and that's what you want from your home crowd. And we have a huge game coming up Saturday. And I would think that, and listen, I'm not going to speak for our fans. Listen, it's their hard-earned money, right, that they're spending to come here. But, boy, how great would it be to have an even bigger crowd next Saturday. At what time do we kick off, David? 3? Noon. Oh, my God, perfect timing. You still got the whole afternoon. You got the evening to go have a cocktail, get in here early, tailgate, have some breakfast, Get out there, because the kickoff will be 12:02, make sure you're in your seat, and then it really starts to, it starts to steamroll. But absolutely appreciative of the people that were in the stadium tonight.
Last one.
Coach Chase Coburn from the league winners, congratulations on the win here today. You talked about 38,000 plus in the stands here, and then a win against an ACC opponent of this magnitude. What statement did you guys make today?
Chase, that's a great question. I'm not much of a statement guy. Like, I believe that every week is its own entity. Like, I think if you say that was a statement game, that you set yourself up a little bit for, disappointment. And so for us, it's always about what's next. We're going to enjoy this one, but then how do we get back in line to have a great performance next Saturday? And that's just always been my mindset and this team's mindset, and we believe in it wholeheartedly. So we can talk about statements like at the end of the season when it's all over, but you don't talk about it now because, you just don't. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it, pal.
All right.